Hello, this is Sybil Harmony with Apollo, and we're going to talk about politics. So, I'm a psychic and a medium, and I stepped in to do my part as an American and as a human in the world to try to save democracy, which we're going to do, and be a voice for hopefully those who don't have a voice. So, I really appreciate each and every one of you and your comments here. So this is November 2nd. What are we? 3rd already. Okay. Tomorrow's the election. I voted. Yay. And this is my dog Apollo, and he wants his ball. Want your ball? Oh, good boy. Okay. He's about 100+ pound shepherd mix, and he likes to play with balls. Okay. So he's going to sit over there and chew on his ball. Um, All right, so let's get started. Some of you left comments on my community page, and so I want to address that. I want to talk about I said Epstein that with the in regards to the Epstein files, the money laundering. I felt like this current Cankles, um, we'll call him that, or the orange one, or whatever you want to call him. I just don't like to say the name because the spirit energy is really dark. And so I use nicknames. I'm not trying to name call. But I said, and when I said this, people got upset. I said that I felt like he wasn't really involved so much in the actual sex with underage young girls, but that he was very much, I mean, I felt like I felt like that happened, of course. But I also felt like he was even more involved in wanting to cover up um, financial dealings, and sex trafficking. So we know the um, dearly, I want to be respectful when I talk about deceased people or anybody, but especially deceased people, Virginia Dufresne was sex trafficked from Mar-a-Lago. And I believe there's more of that, and that there's a lot of money laundering. Sorry about my phone. I was going to put it on, okay, Gemini, airplane mode. Okay, we'll see if that works. My once it gets on airplane mode, then I have to get somebody to help me to get off airplane mode so my phone gets stuck. So sorry about the noise. I don't think that worked. Okay, on. Okay. All right. So I don't know if I can get off of there, but we'll see. Okay. So people got upset when I said that because they said, no, he's a pedophile, he's a rapist. Yeah, I know he is. But there are a lot of crimes with a lot of big money people in Slavic countries and Israel. I mean, that's still going on in different countries right now. Unfortunately, he thinks they can't do it here now because the Democrats and the law. You should have seen those dancing girls that looked like they were wearing underwear at his young women at his Great Gatsby party. Yeah, he's having a party while there's a shutdown and people are going hungry, but he's having a big costume, scantily clothed girls Gatsby. I mean, it's disgusting what's happening. Okay. So anyway, people got upset, but I really feel like that's going to come out more. That's really what they're hiding is a lot of people that were money laundering the big money. And so I also, strangely enough, feel like I'm not really sure if Epstein, the deaths, the killing of people who were suicide, possibly. Um, with Virginia Dufresne. Let me ask her. I feel like she was a suicide because of this. And I feel like she regrets that because I'll tell you, no, I'm not really a political person. I'm not I've spent decades and years and I saw spirit as a child. I've traveled around the world working with shamans and healers and mystics. And I know how to read past lives, chakras, the energy body, and look at energy and get messages from spirit and talk to deceased people and teach people how to open their own abilities and how to have their own awakening. That's really what I do. I'm not really a political person. So I really appreciate everybody correcting me, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. Your kind corrections of people who are much more knowledgeable about the government and the political world and such and than I am. Okay, so let me get back to what I was saying. I do feel like she killed herself. But there are a lot of deaths. Ivana, who mysteriously went flying downstairs after Kankles said she'd be ashamed if she fell down the stairs. 2 weeks before her NDA was going to be ended and she could freely speak, she was friends with Ghislaine Maxwell. So the lawyer of Epstein himself, I don't know, it's hard to tell if he's dead. I feel like he's, if he is dead, he's not crossed over. I feel like he is in like a haunting. And I feel like that's what's going to happen. My guides are showing me that's what's going to happen to Kankles when he passes. You need to fumigate, sage, get healers to come to the White House. And Mar-a-Lago should be condemned. It's a very dark place where a lot of really evil things happen. Maybe it could be a haunted museum or something. But I feel like when he leaves, he will not cross over. He's afraid to. He knows he's not going to heaven. And we're not wishing that anybody dies here. But I don't think he's, I think he is, before he was a narcissist, a sociopath, a cruel person, a liar, and possibly bordering on insane or madman. Now he truly is a demented mind, a madman. It's pretty amazing. Oh, I saw this, those clips of the 60-minute interview. That was shameful. The way our corporations have failed us and mainstream media, and that interviewer sat there, I don't know what her name was, and let him, like, he pardoned this guy who paid him all this crypto money. And then he said, well, I don't know who that was. So she didn't say, you don't know who you pardoned? You're just pardoning people that you don't know who they are? Like you're just letting criminals out. I don't know who they are. Is that the most insane thing you've ever heard? And 60 Minutes and a lot of these big corporations channels just sit there and continue to let him go on like he's a normal person. I think he's a madman. And he's gone from bad to worse. Is he the Antichrist or demonic? Quite possibly. He's not the only one, but yeah. Okay. So really, a lot of our corporations in America particularly have failed us. selling us garbage products, things that break, um, more interested in profits than people, putting garbage in our food, chemicals. I was got really upset. I was listening to this good reader um, yesterday, and he was saying how he was buying junk food because it was cheaper. And I'm like, oh my God. Do you know what that's doing to your brain and your body? No wonder you're depressed and upset. I mean, a lot of people are having trouble sleeping now because it's the energy shift. We're going through a frequency shift. And I have some things you can do for that. But what I do is intermittent fasting. And I was doing this before. I'm not doing it because of the price of food, but I was doing it for health reasons. But it certainly doesn't hurt. Um, but it's better if you eat one good meal than eat junk all day, because you don't want to get prediabetes, weight gain, brain fog. Sugar is actually a drug that most Americans consume on a regular basis. So check out some videos, and you don't want to do anything extreme. I'm not talking about 24 hours with no food, but I don't usually eat until um, 1 or 2 o'clock, and then I'll have some snacks and then a main meal, and then I'm done. Um, in the morning, I'll have herbal tea or some pumpkin seeds or walnuts or, my vitamins, things like that. I have chia seed. Chia seeds are really high in nutrients. And then I'll just, but I've gotten used to that. If you're going to start intermittent fasting, you have to check with your healthcare provider and you have to do it, work yourself up. But it's a great way to kind of detox your body, um, give your organs a rest, clear your mind, and actually give you more energy than just gobbling up and jamming junk, potato chips. No, don't go out there. I don't want that open. Sit. Sit. He's trying to open the door. Sit. You stay in here with mommy. You want to go outside and play with your ball? Oh my God. Let me put it on pause. He wants to go play with his ball. Just a minute. Okay, we're back on. Sorry. I actually learned how to pause it. Yay! Okay. I usually tell people, I belong out in the woods with the fairies and the flowers. I do not do technology, but I'm learning. Okay. I still haven't done the closed captions because they say YouTube says I can only do that when I'm on live. So I'm going to try to do some lives with closed caption, and then I turn it on, and then you can turn it on where you are. But this is a recording, so I don't think it has closed caption. Okay, so let me get back to what I was saying. The fasting. So yeah, so if you have like a little bit of protein or just like some coffee or a cup of tea or two, drink. First thing when I do in the morning is drink water, hydrate your body. And then you don't want to start fasting on a day when you're working, especially with heavy machinery or you're driving, because you can get tired or a little foggy headed when you're not used to it. So I would start on like a weekend when you have the day off, and just work yourself up gradually. But it's a great way to restore health. And when you think about it, people didn't have refrigerators and grocery stores, for thousands of years. And after World War II, what happened is we made a bunch of seed oil for cleaning military equipment, or seed oil was made for something industrial. And then they had all the seed oil, and it was very cheaply made. And they said, how about if we put it in food and say it's health food? So there's a lot of seed oil, which will clog up your organs, clog up your liver, which will make your immune system weak. We're doing all this cancer research, but we're forgetting that we already know a lot of these things. It's just that, sugar and all these chemicals, people get addicted to it. It's like, I understand comfort food. I do comfort food, but I've switched from sugar to honey or stevia or have some fresh fruit. And if you don't have fresh fruit or you can't afford it, start thinking about next spring in your community, getting a bunch of people together, and we have them here, communities where you have a community garden, okay? Or where somebody has a yard, but they don't have time, or they're elderly, they don't have the energy to do the work, and you say, hey, if you let me do a garden, we could share the food, get family, like talk to your neighbors. Or if you are in an apartment, get a little herb garden going. I have basil, and I have, well, rosemary. I have a yard. I live in a farming area, but I have a lot of gophers, so I had to put in a gopher net. But I'm getting ready to start doing a winter crop. You can do a winter crop with things like kale or lettuce. If you're, weather permitting, find out what the weather is in your area. But we really need to get back to the earth and our health, and kind of the way we've been doing things with 3 squares and then dessert and snacks all day. Like kids wake up in the morning, they have sugary cereal, okay, which is garbage. Be better off giving them one banana or one apple, and they'll holler because they want their sugar fix. How can they study when their brain is all hopped up on sugar? I talked to people that said, one lady I was talking to, she said, I ate so much sugar today, I'm out of my freaking mind. And I'm like, yeah, I'll bet you are, because I was listening to her. So, give them a little apple with some cinnamon, Crayon cinnamon, to normalize insulin, or an egg, okay? But what usually happens is you get a pastry or a granola bar, which is crap, seed oil and sugar, and then they go to school and they get a snack in between. If it's a good school and they're giving free food, or they bring a snack, now they probably have candy in their lunch from Halloween, and then they have macaroni and cheese for lunch. This kid is getting ready for diabetes and heart problems and digestive issues. And then you go, okay, where's where's the health care insurance? In other countries, a lot of European countries don't want our wheat because it's genetically modified and it's not organic. Thanks to Monsanto and some Democrats that did that. Republicans, sure. So the corporations in our country have failed us. There's 5 big food corporations in our country, and they're selling us garbage. And then, you're better off if you get some rice and beans. If it's white rice, have some salad before that, or a little bit of apple cider vinegar, because it'll help to not spike your blood sugar from just eating a lot of white rice. Or do some brown rice with beans. That's whole protein. You're better off having some tea or coffee, having a bowl of rice and beans with maybe a little lettuce if you can. Put an avocado on there for nutrients, or even, you could have some protein later if but you're better off if you're on a shoestring budget. Making some soup, get some bones, get some collagen, throw some cabbage or some organic potatoes or carrots in there. You could throw some herbs, grow some little oregano or something in your window. You can make healthier food. I know it requires time. When people are working, they don't have time. But we've got to get back to the earth and our roots. save you health trouble, health down the road. So then then they get their lunch, kids, and then they have their snack or their candy, or they're tired or grumpy before dinner, and then they go home and have a dinner. And then, one would hope a normal family that could feed their kids. And then you have dessert. So you've been stuffing this kid's face with junk all day, and you expect them to be healthy and happy. I don't think so. They might be wired up on, well, they're young, so they'll be able to make it through, hopefully, without getting some cancer or diabetes or something. I mean, it's just horrific. And so let me stop bitching about, same thing with healthcare. We're all fussing about, our healthcare. We should have, the trying to fight for lower tax credits. We should have, in the wealthiest country in the world, food and healthcare should be a given. They do it in other countries. Canada has free healthcare. What do you call it? Universal healthcare. All that's paid for. Imagine your life if you didn't have the threat of bankruptcy at one family member, one accident, one illness. You could lose your home. Some people. You could go into debt. And the costs are, so it's just the whole way that we're doing things in this country. I'm sorry, it's backwards. If you don't like it, I don't care. Let me tell you about the Hopi Proohecy. The Hopi Indians in America. I'm not Hopi. I have a little bit of Cherokee and possibly some Iroquois. My grandchildren are 1/4 Navajo. So, but I was watching a video on the Hopi Proohecy, and it looks like what I've been seeing all along. And many Native Americans, famous psychics like Edgar Cayce and Nostradamus. I read it in Sylvia Browne's book, End of Days, that talk about the ending of this time that we're living through. And it's not the ending of the earth, it's the ending of the time. And when I've talked about this before, people said it sounds like religion. It's not. The people who have open hearts and who are walking in the light and who are awakening will be saved. We're going to get through this. Corruption, we're seeing it, the worst corrupt administration we've ever seen in this country. Because the light is coming in and we're seeing it. As we use social media and the internet to enrich our wisdom and our knowledge and help each other, not to be used against each other with, robots taking over or things like that. But as we continue to awaken, this is kind of what the Hopi you should watch it, because I don't want to explain it incorrectly. And they're very beautiful in the way they explain it, the video I saw. But as we awaken and shift consciousness and connect back to the earth, we heal the planet and a new earth will emerge. And all this corruption and greed and big corporations, insurance companies controlling whether people live or die and charging them exorbitant, all this is part of the darkness and the corruption that we are seeing now. And we are the generations here now. That's why there's a lot of people here. A lot of people came here for this big shift that are starting the new. And we're going to see it tomorrow in the elections. Before I heard political pundits saying that Democrats will win, I knew we were going to win. And that's a beginning. So we need to do the physical things, the voting, the, changing our diet, the helping our community, the donating if you can, the supporting campaigns. We also need to do the spiritual work, which is grounding us and connecting us to our inner peace and shifting the consciousness of the world using the internet and technology to assist mankind, to assist America in reclaiming itself and beginning anew. Okay, there's my lecture. Yeah, we're about in Mercury retrograde. There's a full moon coming up. We're already in the full moon. Full moons can affect people's sleep. It's a time of healing, of letting go, of celebrating, of becoming aware, of learning new things, resolving things. That's full moon in Scorpio. And Mercury retrograde, it can affect travel, communication, the written word, and it can also affect our thinking. Might not be like, you may not feel as clear. You may feel like, why aren't things working? But Mercury retrograde is a time to slow down and do anything with a redo, revisit, renew, revise, reconsider, okay? And in Scorpio, it's about our beliefs, our deep understanding and deep healing. And I had a Mercury full moon Scorpio moment, and I'll tell you what it was. And so when we make a mistake, even politicians, we need to be able to own our stuff. And when I make a mistake, I hope that I own it. So what happened with me is I said that I got my my Medicare statement, and it only went up $20, and that was incorrect. And I said it was Gavin Newsom, state of California, because the envelope was addressed from state of my local office in the state of California. And I was corrected. Thank you for correcting me online in the comments. The Medicare is a federal program. That's correct. And I don't know if they're going to change my Medicare. They are going to change people's ACA, and I'd be interested to know if people want to share that their affordable health care went up. If you want to share that, you don't have to give the details on yourself, but just share, because of the big ugly bill that was passed. And that's about what the shutdown is about. Also, not releasing the Epstein files. But so I just wanted to, clean up on aisle 5. I want to own when I make a mistake. Like I said before, I am a healer, a medium. I know how to move energy. I know how to talk to spirit. But I guess there was a part of me, my Mercury retrograde full moon moment was, there's a part of me, like a really young part of me, that wants to believe that there's a hero helping us, and that it's Gavin Newsom is now fixing Social Security and Medicare, when it's actually a federal program. So that was not true. And thank you. My guides were singing a song to me, a Paul McCartney song. Baby, I'm amazed at the way you write me when I'm wrong. And something about helping me to understand. And I thank you for that. Thank you for writing me when I am wrong. Okay? And it was like an awakening of consciousness for me to go, wow, there's a part of my brain that wanted to believe, like a little young part of me, that there's still a daddy, or a mommy that's out there protect. And yes, Gavin Newsom's doing stuff. Look at the Prop 50. Kamala Harris did a lot for California. Okay. But I thank you for that awakening. Okay. And let's see. Somebody wanted to look at is Ted Nugent going to be governor of Michigan? Oh my God. Is Ted Nugent going to be governor of Michigan? Let's look at. I think he does that song about kind of strangling a woman or something. He's a big Trumper. Mikey Sherrill's going to win. Prop 50's going to win. Mondami's going to win. People are waking up. We are taking back our country. I think they just say this stuff to scare people. Putting out the message. It's like he's going to put out the message. Secrets coming out. Let's just ask. Let me just look at him. Will you become governor of Michigan? He's going to make a go for it. It looks like a wrecking ball. Yeah, if you want your government ruined, people need to see. Can Whitmore run again? I don't think so. I don't know that. This would be in 2026. Will he become governor of Michigan? I'm concerned. So if you have social media or whenever that race starts to come up, let's see, when is the next race? I'm on airplane mode, so I can't look at stuff. Gemini, airplane mode off. Okay. Let's see. When is the governor's race for Michigan? Um, 4 years ago, Gretchen Whitmer run. 2026. Gubernatorial election. Oh, it's coming fast. Wow. Jocelyn Benson, Mike Dugan. Yeah, let's look at that again. So if you're in Michigan, you got some work to do. Post in your social media. Turn up at a rally. Let's see if they say who's running yet. Who's running for governor in Michigan? Because you guys had that, what was that? Scott, was that in Wisconsin? Scott, what you call it? Scott, he was horrible. Ted Nugent would be a horrible governor for Michigan, sorry to say. Who's running for governor in 2026, Michigan? The candidates. Mike Dugan. Jocelyn Benson. We'll look at these people. We got lots of work to do, okay? But you can be happy that we are going in a good direction with these elections, okay? Now, I wanted to look at, the Supreme Court is going to rule on the tariffs on Wednesday. I feel like they give him some win, but they put it back on Congress. They don't really want to rule on this. I feel like it gets overturned as soon as the Democrats get in there. But I feel like we're going to have a mixed ruling on that from them. They're going to give something to him. I don't understand law, and so I'm not a lawyer, but I feel like they're going to give something to Kankles and something to the people, and then basically throw it back to Congress. And Congress is already, at least the Senate, is already voting against what he's doing in tariffs, and the China tariffs are already back to where they were in January, with a lot of damage done. Okay. Yeah. So, hang in there, everybody. I will be back on. I usually come on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. I'm going to be on with members on Saturday, on the 8th, and you can join that. Also, check out my classes. I'm doing a class in past life regression. November 22nd is coming up. And I'm also doing a class on manifesting with the angels and healing, December 6th. And that'll be super fun Christmas class with manifesting and healing. I love working with the angels and the ascended masters. That's really what I do. I'm just on here. Hey, thank you so much for watching till the end of the video. I really appreciate you. And all your wonderful comments and all your teaching comments as well. And I'm sending you so much love. Yay! You get ready to get happy. Get the popcorn for for the elections. And we are taking back our country, so we need to know that. And your No Kings protest. You're speaking out. Your vote counts. I voted. Yeah, I got that. I voted. There was no one there. There was I was the only person there. It was like a Monday or Tuesday afternoon or something. I was the only person there in my little area. All right. Take really good care of yourselves, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.